A's Extra.
Welcome back to another edition of A's in Depth alongside Emmanuel Berbari and Andrew Crane. I'm Josh Schaefer, and today we have another 2019 Chatham Angler from Arizona State University, RJ Dabovich. RJ, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
So where are you right now? You're back home in Colorado, right?
Yeah, I'm back home for the draft. I'm staying up in Denver for a few days with a couple friends. We're hitting up my gym up here. Head back to Pueblo and hang out with my family for the draft.
Very cool. So heading into the draft, what does your prep kind of look like? Through quarantine, ever since the ASU season was kind of cut short.
Yeah, so our gym back in Arizona, my personal trainer moved out there right before this all happened, and he got to stay open the whole time. So we've been me and Eric Tolman, who's another teammate of mine. I've been in there every day, just getting after it. Trying to get strong, trying to get as strong as we can for the draft and for what happens next.
Has there been any contact between you and the Arizona State coaching staff?
Yeah, we've talked. We talk, about once a week, just about what I'm doing, what my plans are for the future. If I don't, end up not going to the draft, by some chance, if I'd be willing to go back to school, how all that would work, stuff like that. Just kind of staying in touch, keeping each other sane.
What did that end of the season look like for you guys when everything kind of shut down on that Thursday? You guys are in between the Fresno State and Utah series, and I guess what were those kind of days like, if you could walk me through that?
It was pretty crazy. At first I think it was Harvard or one of those schools canceled season or something like that back east. I don't remember the exact thing. And we were all like, wow, that happened. How far behind could we be? And then the SEC canceled, and then it slowly happened where we got canceled too. It was just crazy to kind of feel that it was taken away from us, because we felt like we had a good team that could make a push towards Omaha. But having that taken away, especially from the seniors too, just kind of sucked.
What was your biggest takeaway from the shortened season and the time on the mound that you did get to see this spring?
Biggest thing is never take it for granted. Playing with, this is the last time I'll play with Torque and Alika and that whole group of players. And just that I should have never taken it for granted, and should have enjoyed every moment. And moving forward, that's probably what I'll do, is I'll just, enjoy the journey a little bit more than expect the outcome.
What were some of the adjustments pitching-wise that you were looking forward to making the remainder of the season that ended up being taken away?
The biggest thing for me was the move to the bullpen. I was a closer, and I was still getting used to being a reliever, finding a routine that worked at the back end of a game, where I could go, 2 or 3 times in a weekend, once in a midweek, throw 3 or 4 times a week. And I struggled with that in the beginning of the year, because I was treating every outing kind of like a start. And it took me a while to kind of figure out how much I needed and how much I didn't need before a game, in the middle of a game, at the end of the game, to get into a routine where I could throw, every day. And we started making those adjustments with JK and a few other people on the team who were, more veterans in the bullpen. But I never got a chance to get around to making those adjustments.
Is there an appearance that you had this year in the shortened season where you kind of felt those things kind of clicking?
Yeah, for sure. It was probably out at Fullerton. I got off that was about a 7-day rest as my first rest in the first 2 weeks of the season. And me and Brady talked about a routine that I could do before, the game, but during the game. And it's one of my best outing. I was up to 99. I threw one pitch at 96, I want to say. And the rest were 97, 98. So, definitely the velo was there. The breaking balls were there that day, and it was a really good day for me.
You mentioned how you kind of shifted toward the bullpen this year, and then obviously with the year before, seeing time as a Sunday starter in Chatham ever since Tom Holliday's been there, he kind of goes with that 4-4-1 setup with his pitchers, and obviously you saw time with the first 4 innings, the second 4 innings, and then this past spring at ASU with pitching coach Jason Kelly. Where do you feel most comfortable moving forward with the draft right around the corner?
The biggest thing for me is, I'm comfortable in both roles. I feel like my repertoire kind of plays to both things. I have, the 4 or 5 pitch mix where I can go deep into a ball game. I hold my velocity well. But also, at the back end of a game, I have the uptick in velocity, the good power breaking balls to go along with it, where I could be, dominant back into the game. So more or less, it just depends on, what a team sees me as. I feel like I'm going to be a big leaguer in either role. I feel like, being a closer might move a little bit quicker, just because relief pitchers tend to move a little bit quicker. So at the end of the day, I'm good with anything, and I just want to be in the big leagues.
What was your reaction to the changed draft format? Was there any doubt or optimism that crept into your mind when you saw how it'd be revised and shortened?
I mean, Not for me personally, but like, I kind of felt for my teammates. Like Nick Chima, Miles Denson, I think they had a chance of slipping in somewhere later in the draft. People like, I mean, if people don't pick, like, for example, if Drew Swift didn't get picked, that'd be devastating because he played extremely well this year and deserves to be picked. And just the amount of people who we had a possibility of getting drafted who now might not, just kind of hurts and kind of like stings a little bit just because, they deserve it at the end of the day.
How have you or your teammates kind of adjusted to that different draft, like shortened draft, where, pushing out videos of you guys on social or, just trying to find different ways to boost your stock when you don't have the college season to really do that?
I mean, that's what we've been trying to do. I mean, we're trying to get, like numbers on our fastballs, breaking balls, like that, Rapsodo data, TrackMan data, to pair with the video too, just kind of like send that out. But the biggest thing is like, it sucks to say, but not worry about it. Like we can't really control the fact that the draft is only 5 rounds. We can't control that, the money or whatever is deferred over in the next 3 years. We just kind of, get better, worry about ourselves, put our heads down, get to work. And at the end of the day, whatever happens is meant to happen.
Is there a moment in your time in Chatham last summer that stood out to you as maybe a turning point in your development as a player?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, after the first couple of outings, me and Cookie worked a little bit mechanically wise and made some good adjustments. And then I missed one start, or I got pushed back or something. Rain delay it might have been. I don't remember exactly what happened. But then I came out against, I want to say it was Hyannis. It was, I think, 9 Ks in 4 innings, 9 Ks, whatever it was. Like that moment there, I kind of felt like I had all my pitches working and my mechanics were clean and I could repeat my delivery every single time and make the adjustments needed pitch to pitch. And from that point forward, it felt like I was a different pitcher.
You just mentioned Dennis Cook, and then a couple minutes ago, Jason Kelly at ASU. For a JUCO guy who works with one coach, then your first pitching coach at ASU, to Dennis Cook, and now to Jason Kelly, and now moving into the future, how do you kind of balance like the mentalities or the mindset or the advice of different pitching coaches that you work with over an extended period of time?
Yeah, man, it's definitely difficult. I mean, everyone has their own philosophy, has their own ideas, has their own, kind of how they want to teach. So the biggest thing is realizing that all of them want to help you and all of them want the best for you, and taking in all that information and using what you think is going to work for yourself, like whatever it may be. Like, for example, Cookie's adjustments to me and JK's in the past year. Like I take everything they have to say with a grain of salt. Like I'll try it. If I don't like it, I'll tell them that. And like as long as the coach is willing to communicate, that makes it a whole lot easier. So at the end of the day, like you just have to kind of like, with the carousel of coaches, you have to kind of like take in your own responsibility and figure out your own path alongside with them.
Do coaches kind of craft that mentality toward maybe how you are as a player or what your strengths are, or does it kind of just vary? I think
it kind of just varies more or less. I mean, definitely like I could tell JK kind of communicates different ways to other people depending on who they are as a person, if they're, introvert, extrovert, stuff like that. But most coaches kind of just vary a large amount.
How much did that summer on the Cape, playing against the best of the best, tell you about yourself? How much did you find yourself during that summer?
I mean, it felt really good. I mean, to go up there and compete and, compete well like I did, really, again, it gave me that confidence of like, hey, like I am this good, like I am this dude. Like let's go out there and prove it to everyone else. I mean, I did it in the summer when I did it against, you said the best competition in the country. And there's no reason I can't do it against, the same team in Arizona State or, going into the season.
You mentioned the kind of like pivotal moment in the Cape last summer. Are there any other memories or stories from those couple months up there that stand out to you?
I mean, there's definitely a bunch of stories. I don't know how many I could tell, but it was definitely a great time hanging out with all the guys. Made some pretty close friends. I mean, I still hang out with some of them today, and we stay in contact. It's really just a good summer in general. Just as a person, as a friend, as socially, just a lot of development that summer.
How much time do you get to spend on the Cape? Did you get to spend with ASU guys who were also on the Cape but playing for different teams?
A decent amount. I mean, not a crazy amount, but like every now and then I hang out with, Tolman and Corrigan, and they're at YD. With Lika and Blake over at Bourne. Lika was only there for like a week though, with Team USA. But I mean, most of the time is with the people in Chatham and close to that. My roommate Daniel Fetterman. We're pretty good friends, and then Hayden King, he had a short stint with us, and then I think he moved to Bourne. We're all pretty good friends. We stay in contact, but we definitely hung out with a lot of diverse people.
Any plans on how you'll follow the draft?
How I'll follow it? Like, what do you mean?
Just like any plans you've made, how do you look to track it? And
Oh, I mean, I'm just gonna hang out with my family and kind of not worry about it. Let it roll as it happens. And we have a decent idea of where I'll go if I'll go, so we'll probably watch during that time. But other than that, I'm just gonna enjoy my friends, enjoy my family, and have a good time with it.
So when you were drafted a couple of years ago, you weren't really aware that you had been drafted. Can you kind of tell us what that story, how that story goes of the first time you were picked?
Yeah, for sure. So I was up in an apartment in Denver, just training at Push, doing that all summer, and we had calls earlier in the day saying that, hey, we might make a deal here, we might try to make a deal here and take you and see what happens. But most of it was like in the late 20s, early 20s, real late in the draft. So I put my phone down, I had my ringer on, I put my phone down, got a bowl of Captain Crunch, was sitting there eating it, and then all of a sudden, like I said, my phone blowing up, and I pulled the first one. It was one of my friends from Central Arizona, Clayton Keys. He goes, "Congrats, bro, good job." And I'm like, for what? And he goes, "You just got drafted." I go, "Oh, I did?" And then my advisor called me, the Royals called me, and that whole process took off. It was just kind of funny that I had no idea it was happening, and it just happened out of the blue.
What's the cereal choice going to be this year then?
Probably Captain Crunch again. Good luck. Happen. May as well do it back to back.
Is it the kind with the berries or without the berries, or with only berries?
Always the berries. Just the mix, the good mix. It's the original
Right.
flavor.
Well, RJ, again, we appreciate your time. We'll be following along. Best of luck in the future. And, if things work out for you, we'll be following along the way and looking forward to see how things work out.
Perfect. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.